Claircognicence. This one is my absolute favorite as it's the one that I am predisposition geared towards. It's my personal gift, claircognizance. Now, we all are born and we all have predispositions to move towards certain ways. There's no one clair that is better than the other. Some of us may be more interested in seeing things like clairvoyance. Some may be more interested in hearing things, clairaudience. But I find as though as we incarnate, we all tend to gravitate towards one or the other. And this one is my personal gift and one that I know the most information about. So I'm very, very excited to share all of my tips and tricks with you. First, in understanding what is claircognizance. Claircognizance is the ability to just know information. You can't really tie to a reason or a why or an event of why you know this information is coming to you, but things just pop in your head and they tend to be true, or most of the time they do tend to be true. What's an example of this? The example of this is going about your day and before your phone rings, you have the idea in your mind, hey, so-and-so is going to call me. And boom, so-and-so calls you. It's different from clairvoyance in seeing it or seeing the event, hearing the phone call before it happens. It's just a knowing. It's just as you walk about your day, oh, my mom's about to call me. Boom, your mom's about to call you. And then your mom calls you, so on and so forth. That is claircognizance, the ability to know things, to pull information out of the ether. Now, here's some very easy tips that you can use to begin developing this ability, as anyone can become claircognizant. The first two are very related. It's called receptive receiving. The second one is projective receiving. From receptive receiving, what you would do is go about your normal day and you are presented so many opportunities to utilize it, which is probably why it's my gift, because it's one that you can practice literally all the time. Before something is happening, having an idea of how it's going to go. Before you enter in the restaurant, having an idea of how many people are going to be there, what the majority color of everyone's going to be wearing is. How many different languages you're going to hear when you enter in that space. Starting to open your mind and kind of project or receive information. I like to steer away from the term guessing because guessing involves the mind. And unfortunately, if you just follow the mind, it's going to lead you down a whole bunch of really weird pathways. The mind is confusing, but the consciousness, our essence, our spirit, if you will, is very, very clear. So I like to steer away from the term of guessing and move more towards receiving. An example of this is, hey, while you're commuting to work, what is the color of hair of the people in the vehicles or in the public transportation that's passing you? That's probably my most dedicated practice, is guessing the hair color. There I go saying guessing again, but receiving the hair color from other people. If I'm traveling, I'm saying this person's going to have purple hair. This person's going to have brown hair. That person's going to have blonde hair. And as I'm passing the car, seeing how many times I'm accurate, that is an example of how you can move towards receiving information wherever you go, opening yourself up to already knowing what is happening before it is happening. If that's an event, if that's a people you'll see there, if that's a music that's playing, that's a great tip and tool. The second is projective receiving. Receptive receiving is really helpful because you're going to be using that all the time as you go about your day. Projective receiving, I would only recommend to do maybe once or twice a day because you can get really down on yourself with this one. This one is saying, taking a bunch of playing cards, finding those cards and saying, I know that this one is the 6 of spades. I know this one is the 4 of hearts, turning them over. The difficulty and the trepidation of why I recommend this practice is that it is very, very easy to begin doubting yourself and then to become unfulfilled with this practice as a whole. It also is a very, very interesting time for the mind to get into the way. When we're looking to receive information, we're already projecting our biases on it, which is why I recommend receiving information without any sort of attachment to it and not doing projected practices. However, this is a very important practice and one that I still utilize. I just encourage you to be careful as you do it because it becomes very easy to be judgmental of yourself. The last and the final one is, I haven't mentioned this in any of my other Claire videos, so you gotta give me a break, but meditation. Meditation is the best tool to become more familiar with your consciousness. As you're more familiar with what's going on within you, you can then become more familiar with what's going on outside of you. So if you don't know yourself, if you don't know how you are going to respond to certain information or processes, if you're not familiar with your reactions, your responses, then you will not be familiar. You'll be very, very unwieldy when receiving information from the next dimension. How are those spirits and energies supposed to communicate and contact us if we aren't really even sure of ourselves? What do we do with the knowledge that's inside of us? When we've developed a proficiency and an ability to become familiar with how our own energy and how external energy affects us through meditation, through really just canvassing how you're feeling on a daily basis, noting it, observing it, and not judging it, that's as simple as it can be. It doesn't have to be an hour-long practice. It can be very simple, 2, 3 minutes of just trying to understand how you feel. When you've become more familiar with that, then you're able to know things that are outside of you because we have a very, very strong foundation of knowing ourselves. I hope this has been helpful. Please try out meditation, try out projected receiving, receptive receiving. And I think this is the closing finale for all of the clairs. I'm going to check through my mind to see if I've missed one, but we'll see what we talk about tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and I love you.